Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the other side of the corner and welcome to your latest Chelsea news, Chelsea transfer news, Chelsea everything. Things are getting a bit interesting. We've got news in regards to Madueke. We've got news in regards to Kudus. It's probably not looking too good, bruv, in regards to Kudus. And we've got some news in regards to Ugochukwu. But first and foremost, before we kick things off with all of those updates, this is the latest that's circulating around, ladies and gentlemen. It's sort of like a scaremongering type of news that's being circulating around. I'm not worried, though. I'm not worried. I'm going to tell you why I'm not worried. Let's start with the news first, coming from Times Sport. Chelsea must raise north of 60 million in sales to ensure new signings can be registered in UEFA competitions after breaching rules. Now, some of you guys might have seen the rules that we breached a couple of days ago, just prior to the match against Palmeiras. There's a whole heap of information that we've breached UEFA's financial fair play rules and regulations. So there's two. So you've got the Premier League financial fair play, and then you've got the UEFA financial fair play. Since we were in the Conference League last season, we had to abide by the rules and regulations of UEFA's financial fair play, which we breached. But ultimately, look, it's about 26.7 million, let's say 27 million unconditional fine, and then there's up to 60 million of conditional fine, depending on what we do down the track. Now, one of those situations is linked with this 60 million to be raised in sales. I'm not worried about this 60 million to be raised in sales. We've got a lot of players that we need to get rid of. We're talking about João Felix to Benfica, and we're looking at about 30 to 40 million there. We're talking to Jorge Mendes, João Felix's agent. So we'll be able to raise some funds there. We'll be able to raise funds through the sale of Renato Veiga, through the sale of perhaps Nkunku down the track. We're looking at, Madueke to be sold as well. And we should hopefully get about 50 million. So that's 60 million to be raised in sales. I'm not worried. I am not worried one bit. And don't forget, we are picking up revenue as we speak, going through this Club World Cup, every part of the competition phase, we're picking up money. We beat Fluminense in the semifinals, going to the finals, we're going to pick up smart amount of money. And if you go on and win it, that's a lot of money that we can collect from winning the Club World Cup. So as much as all of these journalists are out there trying to scare us, 60 million at the end of the day is not a huge factor. Hopefully we are able to raise that without any problems. And then we go on to register our new signings for next year's UEFA competitions, which is important. We need to be able to register Dilap. We need to be able to register João Pedro. We need to be able to register Jamie Gittins, or else, it's looking very bleak. So I'm pretty sure our club and the hierarchies involved will ensure that we meet those, we meet those criteria. So that's in regards to the breach and what we need to do. Now, update in regards to Madueke. Madueke is understood to be interested in Arsenal's vision and project, and Arteta has approved. Madueke would also maintain same salary structure he has now at Chelsea if the deal happens. A compromise on price tag could reach between clubs due to good relations on several deals. What is the compromise? If we are saying, I think the word in the streets was, if Anthony Elanga is going for about 55 million from Nottingham Forest to Newcastle, that's the conversations that's going around. Obviously, Newcastle were looking at João Pedro. We've snapped up João Pedro from them. They're now thinking about Anthony Elanga, and the price tag for Elanga is about 55 million, maybe something around there. Noni Madueke 100% should be around that price. Noni Madueke is no less of a player than Elanga, right? Both of them are not levels, but Madueke is not less of a player. So if there is a negotiation loosening of the price tag, I could probably see, look, if we want something around 50 million, maybe we'll come to an agreement about 45 million. That's inclusive of add-on. So let's see what happens. We haven't seen the bid yet. That was the latest from Fabrizio earlier on today, that there is a bid that is getting prepared by Arsenal. We don't know what the bid is as yet. I don't even know if the bid has been submitted yet, but maybe we might compromise the price tag. So let's see what happens there. During preliminary Madueke talks, Chelsea inquire about including Max Dowman in a deal which Arsenal immediately rejected. Hand of Arsenal, who's a very good source when it comes to internal news of Arsenal. Max Dowman, I have no idea. I think this is where Chelsea were trying to do some cheeky negotiations and trying to buy an up-and-coming youngster from Arsenal, who we can later on flip for profit. So, here's Madueke, no problems. We'll give you a little bit of discount, but give us Max Dowman for down the track. If much like the Omari Hutchinson situation, we send him out on loan, he does well, we sell him and we make a quick buck out of him. Look, I've got no idea who Max Dowman is. Ladies and gentlemen, you let me know in the comment section if you have any idea who Max Dowman is. What position does he play? Is he a good player? Any Arsenal fans out there? I mean, is this a player? I'm guessing he's a kid. Is he an up and coming superstar? Let me know what position he plays, and Arsenal fans, Arsenal immediately rejected. Is he that good? Is he worth keeping? Is he worth letting go? Let me know in the comment section, ladies and gentlemen. Now, in regards to Mohammed Kudus, look, I think what's happening here, ladies and gentlemen. Firstly, let's just quickly go through what Fabrizio Romano has said. Kudus is not negotiating with any other club. He wants to go to Tottenham. Now, the word in the streets is that Chelsea are trying to negotiate with West Ham by offering players as well. So cash plus players. We've got ample amount of players that we want to get rid of. We want to negotiate with West Ham that, hey, here's some money and select someone. And West Ham don't want to negotiate that way. West Ham wants direct cash and they want to go out there and buy their own players. They don't want Chelsea to be their scouting team, right? And I think this is what is putting Kudus off. Kudus is like, look, if you really want me, then come and collect me, right? At the moment, Tottenham are the only team that are negotiating, and he's prioritizing Tottenham because Tottenham showing immense interest, and Tottenham is probably promised him that you're going to be a main starter, right? Us, on the other hand, we're trying to negotiate with players and this, that, the other. We like him, but not so much so where we're just going to break our bank. Do you know what I mean? And I think this is probably what putting Kudus off that. Look, you're not completely interested. You're not really interested. You're only interested if it falls into your terms and conditions. So I think this is why Kudus, and don't forget, we tried to get Kudus back in 2023. And that never happened either. So Kudus might have a sour taste on Chelsea. And, he probably feels, look, Spurs are coming in hot. They only want me. They want to directly negotiate with me. I'm going to prioritize Spurs. So let's see what happens till the end if we amplify our pursuit of Kudus by getting rid of Madueke. If not, look, to be honest, I would have loved Mohammed Kudus. I really would have, but I'm not going to lose sleep over it. We've got a decent team. At the end of the day, look, as long as we don't get Garnacho, I'm happy. If we go get Malik Fofana, because he's linked as well, I've got no problems with that. But Malik Fofana apparently is also linked with Nottingham Forest because they're going to lose Anthony Elanga. We've got to make sure, what are we doing? Are we not getting any player at all? I don't know. Are we maybe keeping one of our players that we're thinking about, getting rid of? Like, I don't know, maybe Nkunku. Are we potentially looking to maybe keep him because there's a spot that's opened up with Madueke leaving? We shall see what happens. But I'm not going to lose my sleep if we don't get Kudus. It would have been nice. It would have been excellent. It really would have put us in a very strong position next season to compete in all fronts. But it is what it is. I think it's important to get rid of a lot of these players that we have because we need to raise 60 million. But on top of that, we need to trim down this squad. So let's see what happens down the track. There are some fan-driven rumors out there with Rodrigo from Real Madrid, but I don't think Chelsea Football Club are going to entertain that. Next up, ladies and gentlemen, Chelsea and Valencia are close to agreeing a season-long loan for Lesley Ugochukwu. I think we need to stop these loan business for Ugochukwu. We need to come to a resolution. We need to come to a conclusion that he's not going to be part of Chelsea's future. He's had a very good season at Southampton, who got relegated. It's time to sell now. It's time to make that quick buck and let's move on. We've got a lot of midfielders. We've got Matisse Amogo that we are sending to Strasbourg as well. So, right now, we're finding it difficult to put minutes on Andre Santos, and who's a supremely good midfielder, let alone trying to figure out what we want to do for Ugochukwu. I think loan businesses need to stop. I'm glad that Valencia is coming in with that interest, but looks like Chelsea are also in the same boat. Valencia and more clubs interested, but Chelsea say no to loan move. Priority is to sell. And I fully agree with that, because no need to waste another loan spot on a player that we don't have a future for. Let's sell, let's make the quick profit, and let's actually provide the loans for players that we're thinking down the track is going to have an impact for Chelsea Football Club. So that is the latest, ladies and gentlemen. Smash up the like button if you're here for the first time. Subscribe, hit the bell notification to stay in touch with all my content. Let me know about your thoughts on all the news that we've talked about. 60 million that we need to raise. Are you worried about the financial fair play issues with UEFA? Your thoughts in regards to Madueke, and your thoughts in regards to Kudus perhaps not coming to Chelsea Football Club. Shall see you again. Smash up the like button once again. Subscribe if you're here for the first time. Till next time, take care. See ya. Bye.